the strategic imperatives are 4. The first one is each institution is different. So what is the strategic logic and differentiation? Because that will drive the programs and pedagogy. And the kind of programs and pedagogy that you look at will also determine the kind of faculty that I would like to deploy. And hence, if you are taking the full what I call cycle, the 4 things that becomes important: the strategic logic and differentiation, the program and the pedagogy, the faculty and its deployment, and then you briefly touched about governance. So governance and organization. I would like to focus more on the pedagogical aspect, because the theme of this conference is MBA pedagogy for 21st century, and some of the things that we have done. So where pedagogy actually fits in? The pedagogy actually fits in the strategic logic and differentiation of the school. And I am here talking about IFIM, and if you look at it, the strategic logic of the school is to groom holistic, socially responsible, continuously employable professionals who can provide innovation-led solutions for new age organizations with a service orientation. That's key. So what are the anchors? Socially responsible, innovative, solution providers, service orientation, and holistic. These are the anchors. So if somebody comes in to recruit or to interact with our school, what is it that they can look forward to? I think those anchors become very, very clear, and that determines the pedagogy, the faculty, and the kind of organization that we should have within the institution. Now, what we are doing in this and how it remains relevant. Professor Chattopadhay talked about the technological advancement. So when we were students, internet was coming. Today we are talking about machine learning, IoT, so on and so forth. Now, are we not adapting? In the morning, Great Lakes made a presentation on analytics, and one of my friends who is a professor there, Bappaditto, he is the guy who I regularly interact. He said that I am now learning machine learning and all those stuff. So how do we adapt? That means we are trained to adapt. How do we make our graduates trained to adapt to the changing technology? That is far more important. And this is what we do. In our program architecture, and this is the brief snapshot of the program architecture, there are certain anchors. These anchors are related to the anchors which are there in our differentiation statement of the strategic logic. You can see that personality enhancement program, innovation incubation, industry internship, social immersion, effective solutions, and the research incubation. So those are the anchors in the program architecture. The important thing is how do we deliver on those anchors? And I will cover each one of them because of limited time. The innovation incubation, that is number 1. Now, if there is an innovation orientation, whatever may be the technological changes, the graduates or the students will adapt. They will learn to adapt. So our students are taken through the whole process of learning design thinking and innovation as part of the curriculum, and they actually work on practicums where they work on innovation assignments. And these are 2 examples where they then took it forward to actually start their own venture. This is the graduating batch. Now, that's important. How do you inculcate the skills whereby they start thinking innovatively? And that is the key thing. And that will also lead to adaptability. That's the important part. The second aspect, social immersion. We have talked about, I think there was a presentation in the yesterday by Professor Naina. So the idea is how do we make, again, our students socially or the graduates socially responsible, which is part of the differentiation statement. So this is the pedagogy through which we are actually delivering on our differentiation of social responsibility. And this is a unique one, personality enhancement program. So there are required courses, Srivas was also talking about it. How do we make them holistic individuals? The important thing is that we make them go through a personality enhancement program. The assumption is they learn to manage and develop themselves. And there are required courses where students have the option to either do yoga or Zumba or even what we call go to the gym. The interesting aspect is you might ask, is this academic? and we are AACSB accredited. Interestingly, the gym trainer is qualified as an instructional practitioner. That's the important part, because that is important. If somebody knows to manage oneself and can develop oneself, whatever may be the changes, they will be able to adapt. That's the most important part. If we keep on teaching today machine learning, tomorrow there will be some, learning in the moon or staying in the Mars. So again, there will be required course for that. So the important thing is learning to learn. And that is important. Self-discipline, self-management, self-development. And that's the key part of the whole program, which is divided into two parts, lifestyle and life skills. If you have the life skills, then you will survive, no matter what the change may be. The third aspect. Now, this is an important one. If you are talking about innovative solutions, you can come up with an innovation without actually making it, what I call implementable. So how do you come up with solutions which can be implemented? Understanding the context, understanding the implementation feasibility, and coming up with solutions. And this is a very interesting course. We call it Effective Solutions through Student Committees or Institutional Committees. We had a similar program, in my previous institution. And there was a lot of debate that whether this is academic or non-academic. Okay, I am glad to share that one of my faculty who is sitting here, because there was somebody who will say it is non-academic, somebody who will say it is academic, they have actually published a paper, a big hand for Parijat and Manas, who published a paper on that initiative, where students work on committees. And each of the challenges that you mentioned, because these are different groups, how do you, evaluate, what would be the assessment, how do you, look at the team working, whether you look at the individual working, whether there are free riders, we have to learn to live with those imperfections. Because leadership is also about inclusion and learning to live with imperfections. How do we train our students on that? These are the initiatives through we do that. Service orientation. How do we infuse service orientation in the curriculum? I could not come yesterday because till yesterday Professor Parasuraman was here in the institute interacting with the faculty and looking at each of their courses, the programs, how do you infuse service orientation. That is the important part. So your pedagogy, faculty has to be aligned to the differentiation and the strategic logic. I will just take 1 minute to answer some of the questions that you have taken. And one of the questions that you have said is, how do we look at the whole issue of internationalization? If you only go for exchange and other stuff, I don't think that we are going in the right manner. We have to design a program which becomes so exciting that the international community, whether the faculty, the company, and the students, should be excited to come over here. That's the important part. How do we do it? And we are actually working on it. Working on a program, I hope next to next IMC we should be able to present and win a gold award on that. But the point is this, that we are making a program which will actually excite the international community to come to our institution. That's important. We should not go only for an exchange. The last thing that I have to talk about is the whole issue of who are our stakeholders. I think there are three key stakeholders: student, faculty, and the industry. And any design, whether it is a program, whether it is the courses, all three should be party in the design of the program, courses, and the input should be a valid input. I think those are the important aspects that I want to touch upon. So that's what we stand for, innovation-led solutions for tomorrow's needs. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Atish.